Anyone who watched the last scenes of episode 36 will have been shocked by the scene they saw. Candice Meninas Giselle turned them into zombies. And this event in itself was surprising and shocking, because simply we know what will happen to them because of what we have seen with Bambita. The poor girl became a puppet in Giselle's hands. But what some may not know is that this event has other dimensions as well, related to the fate of the Quincy girls in the manga, and most importantly in the novel. The events where Giselle turned Candice and Meninas into zombies didn't happen in the manga or the novel. There were many other incidents that occurred to them while they were alive. So guys, in this video, I'll show you what happened to the Quincy girls after the war and what the new path of the Quincy girls could be in the anime after this major change that happened in the last episode. First of all guys, let's talk about what actually happened to Candice and Meninas. If we go back to episode 23 of the second season, we will find that Yuaba, to revive this generator, the elite guard performed the Auswehren ritual, where he absorbed the powers of all the Quincy's present in the Soul Society. And at the time Lil Ticho was with Giselle and Candice was in a bad state after her fight with Byakuya, so Meninas was trying to help her. However, in the moment when Yuaba performed the Auswehren, Candice and Meninas couldn't avoid the attack. And if you notice, Mayuri and Nemo were watching what was happening to Candice, and Mayuri gave his own explanation of what was happening. As for Giselle and Lil Ticho, they managed to survive the direct attack, but in return, they lost their whole standing ability forever. And this didn't just happen to them, but to all the generator who survived the Auswehren. They lost their ability to use the whole standing again. Of course, except for Uryu. After these events, there will be two versions of the events, one for the anime and one for the manga and novel. And let's start with the anime. For what has been shown, it seems that after Lil Ticho and Giselle survived and decided they would take revenge on Yuabach, it seems that on their way they encountered Candice and Meninas. Either they were already dead from the first Auswehren attack, or they were still alive but in a bad state, just like what happened to Bambita before when she was defeated by Kumamor. And so it seems Giselle decided to turn them into zombies. Of course, for Giselle to do that, to turn any Quincy into a zombie, she needs to kill them, unlike with the Shinigami. So if they were already dead, as we said, they would be turned into zombies immediately. Or maybe Giselle killed them and then turned them into zombies. And that's how we saw them in the final scene of episode 36. And of course, we don't know now what will happen to them, but in the manga and the novel version, we have their full path that I will show you now. If you remember guys, I told you that Mayuri and Nemo were watching what happened after Yuabach performed the Auswehren. And so in the novel it was said that the 12 division members were the ones who came to Candice and Meninas and found them in a very bad situation, to the point that Mayuri told Candice that he found her half dead and half alive. So they were taken with Meninas to Mayuri's lab, and Nana was also taken there. And after the war against Yuabach ended, Mayuri planned to turn Candice into what we might call a half-zombie, by implanting things into her that would allow him to control her, just like he did with the dead Arankas like Lopi, Dordoni and others. And at the same time, after Lil Ticho and Giselle were defeated by Yuabach, they were rescued by Hirschfeld's servant. This character didn't appear in the anime, but she did appear in the manga. Hirschfeld had given her the order to keep the future of the Quincy's united. So after Hirschfeld died, she carried out his will and helped as many Quincy's as possible and brought them to the Vanderach's base that's located in the human world. And among them were Giselle and Lil Ticho. And it was Hirschfeld's servant who told them that Candice and Meninas had been taken by the 12th Division. Therefore guys, at that moment, Lil Ticho decided with Giselle to attempt to rescue them from Mayuri. So we can say that all the events surrounding the Quincy girls in the novel will revolve around this idea. However, there is an important point mentioned in the novel. Giselle had previously decided that if they found Candice and Meninas dead, she would turn them into zombies. So the scene we saw in the anime isn't surprising since Giselle had already planned to turn them into zombies in the case they died. So guys, with all these possibilities in mind, Lilith decided that they will need to go to Wicomund before heading to the Soul Society, and here many events concerning the Quincy girls will unfold, such as Lilith and Giselle going to Wicomundo to recruit the remaining soldiers from the Jagged Army to use them as pawns in their attack on the 12th Division to recover Candice and Meninas. And during this, a long battle will occur between Rodoborn, Liltito and Giselle will use Bambita in the battle, as you can see in the sketch drawn by Kobo. Additionally guys, some information will be revealed during that fight, such as Giselle's ability to turn hollows into zombies temporarily due to the fact that Hollow Rishi doesn't align with the Quincy Rishi. And also it was revealed that the ability of Lilticho allows her to avoid the risk of the death from the poison of the Hollows. Even if she ate them, all it causes is some stomach pain, so she was eating many soldiers of Redoborn during the battle between them. It also revealed that Lilticho can gain abilities from whoever she devours until they are fully digested. Thus, Lilticho will be able to gain all his powers when she devours part of her body, which was fighting them with Minoli. The battle will witness the arrival of Halibel, Grimijo and Neil, and afterward Hikone will appear, marking the end of that chapter of events, as all the fighting will turn towards him. And later guys, Lilticho and Giselle will take the advantage of the Espada, Halibel and Neil leaving the Soul Society to follow them and go there. On the other side, in Soul Society, Mayuri will send Candice and Meninas to the Recon Guy to try to bring the Fullbrings to do some experiments on them, as he was interested in them as species. And if you remember, in the Soul Society arc, he was more interested in Orihime than Uryu. Therefore, a large battle will take place between Candice and Meninas against Ginju, Tsukushima and Guriko. And during this fight, Lilticho and Giselle will appear, and this will be the first encounter between them after the end of the war. So Lilticho will try to negotiate with Mayuri to free Candice and Meninas, and Mayuri, who initially wanted the Fullbrings, will later demand Hikone, especially after Hikone to the Soul Society and releasing several white monsters using his Zanpakuto Ikumoku Domoi. And so Lilticho, who can be said to be the true leader of the Quincy girls, will be the one trying to find a solution to save her friends. And in the chaos caused by the revelation of Tokinada and Hikone and the battle shifting to the Valley of Screams, in the end Candice and Meninas won't be freed from Mayuri's control since he still has bacteria tracking them and some tools inside their souls, but they will manage to live with Lilticho, Giselle and the zombie Bambita to the real world, where they decided to go to another country in the real world, and there they will discuss how to get rid of the things Mayuri implanted inside them. And I'm speaking here about Candice and Meninas. So it will be clear to you guys that many events are based on the idea that Candice and Meninas were taken by Mayuri alive and fought several battles for him, while Lilticho and Giselle also fought many battles to save them, whether in Wicomundo or Soul Society. So keeping the scenario we saw in the anime as it is will undoubtedly change many things in the events of the novel if it were adapted into anime, or simply it won't be adapted at all. And then guys, what do you think about the events that we have read in the novel about the Quincy girls and their path, and what could be the new path of these girls in the anime? Tell me guys your opinions in the comments, and see you guys in my next video.